Hello, my bitty bees. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome see-through bangs for the first time ever. I actually used to have bangs, I'd say 10 years ago, and I stopped having them because I felt it just didn't suit my aging face as an adult, but I wanted to try see-through bangs for quite a number of years now. I'd say minimum 4 or 5 years I've been wanting to try, but I was scared. And today I did it. I cut myself some see-through bangs, but that is not the point of the video. Today I am here because I've consistently over the past number of years, I'd say at least 4 years, get this reoccurring comment, and it has to do with me looking different. And it's generally like, oh, you look so different now. Oh, you looked so much different like a few years ago, blah, blah, blah. Oh, you looked so much different back when you lived in Japan and Korea. And I want to kind of address that and what is actually different. A lot of people relate it to fillers, but to be honest, the fillers or Botox I get is actually the exact same amount and exact same as when I was living in Korea and Japan. So nothing actually is different cosmetic enhancement wise. It's literally the exact same. The only thing that is different are two things. I've been aging because it's been like 5 years since I lived in those places. My face is aging and my makeup style has changed. And what I mean by makeup style is actually my base makeup and my contouring method has changed. So the way that I do my makeup every day is what is changing comparatively to when I was living in Korea and when I was living in Japan. I do my contour differently. And I think that's what most people are referencing, but they just automatically want to be negative and assume it's my filler and Botox. But those things I do, filler and Botox, are the exact same way I did them in Korea and Japan. So I actually find it really funny when I get these comments because I'm like, no, hun, it's the exact same. What's changed is my makeup technique. So aside from my makeup, I also am more tan. Like my skin color is more tan compared to when I was living in those countries. So I'm gonna do a comparison makeup for you guys, comparing how I used to do my makeup when I was living in Korea and Japan versus how I'm doing my skin makeup now, 5 years later, 4 to 5 years later. So the only thing that has changed, like I said, is my skin color is a little bit darker now that I'm living in Western countries, and also my contour method and blush method is different. On this side of my face, I'm going to do my new current makeup routine for my makeup, and then on this side of my face, I'm gonna do my makeup I used to do back in Japan and Korea. My eye makeup and eyebrow technique has remained the same since I was living in those countries. So my eyebrows and my eye makeup is actually the exact same. I do the exact same eyeshadows. I haven't bought eyeshadows in a long time. But yeah, I'm not gonna be doing my eye makeup today because it's literally the exact same as when I was living in those countries. Nothing has changed up there wise, just my contouring technique. So without further ado, let's stop babbling on and hop right into it. So coming in a little bit closer, I'm just gonna show you guys. Let me just like try to move my see-through. No, let's just keep them. It looks a little ridiculous when I do that. Okay, so tucking some of my hair aside, let's first apply foundation. And first off, on the current side of my face, this is gonna be my current makeup and base makeup routine. Contour base makeup, I'm going to be going in with my NARS All Day Luminous Foundation in the shade Valeris. This is one that I use when I have more tan skin, and I'm actually going to be using it on the brush that I literally used when I lived in Korea and in Japan. I still have this brush. I still love this brush. This actually is my second one I've ever purchased. So just brushing it lightly over the skin. You can kind of see the color is getting a little bit darker, which matches my neck just a little bit better. Wow, you know what? I did not bring my mirror out here. Just doing my makeup from the viewfinder. Sketchy. I remember back when I was like a teenager, when I did have bangs back in the day, I used to never put foundation on my forehead or do my eyebrows because I just didn't see the point of it because I had a full-on fringe that was kind of thick. So the one side of my face has the more tan foundation that I wear pretty much every day for the past year and a half. Now just wiping off the excess on a tissue because I don't want to dirty another brush because I'm lazy. I'm gonna go ahead and take the foundation I used to use back when I was living in Japan and Korea. This is the Etude House Double Lasting Foundation SPF 35 PA++ in the shade, I think, just beige. It's a lighter tone with a neutral undertone. So I'm just gonna do the same amount. This one has more high coverage. It's a little bit of a thicker consistency because back then I did have an acne problem. By the time I lived in Japan was almost gone, but you can see it's much lighter. This because when I was living in Asia, I literally did not see the sun because it's very taboo-ish to tan or go out in the sun and not be covered there. And although it may not be like your belief or your lifestyle, you somehow adopt it while you're there. It's kind of hard to explain, but you naturally just adopt the lifestyle. Gosh, you can really tell. At least in person, I can really tell. On camera, it's a little more toned down. This is a really thick foundation, but I did love it. Hopefully it doesn't break me out because this is an old bottle. Like, it's the same one from when I was living there. So just taking a smidge more. Just put it on my forehead. Oh my. It really is quite high coverage. Okay, let me just back up a little bit. You can kind of see like there's a, like when you're more of a deeper skin tone, I feel it gives more depth to the face. Like you really kind of naturally see the bone structure a little bit naturally compared to without. Moved my light a little bit so you can get more even color. But yeah, you can kind of see there's like it just gives a different look when you're a little bit of a darker skin tone. So moving on, I'm gonna go in with concealer. I'm using my Jeffree Star concealer in C13. This has nothing to do with making the difference. Like I do my concealer quite honestly the exact same way I did when I was living in Korea and Japan. So nothing has changed whatsoever. With that, I'm just gonna use the same brush because I'm very basic in regards to how I do my concealer. I've always just used the same tools that I use for my foundation for my concealer. Then I'm just gonna wipe off the excess because I don't want to get lighter foundation or too much of it on the other side. But yeah, like whenever I get comments of people comparing me how I look now to back literally 5 years ago and them claiming that I've done so many fillers and so much surgery, it's actually quite frustrating because the difference literally is just skin tone and time and makeup methods. Like 3 factors that can really change how you look. Okay, so this is the base makeup. Next, I'm gonna go in and do my contour, which is the biggest difference in my makeup routine and one of the biggest factors, in my opinion, to my face looking different comparatively. So I'm just gonna back up a little bit so we get a little better angle. But basically what changed is I never used to contour under my cheekbones. I just didn't do it. I didn't like the look back then. It just wasn't me at the time. So I actually did more of the Korean contouring method when I lived in Asia, which kind of makes sense because I was living in Korea and Japan. So I naturally just happened to adopt their methods and it was fun and interesting, and why not, right? And then since I moved back to Western countries, I found myself doing more Western style makeup. So taking my sleek makeup contouring powder in the medium shade, I'm just tapping off the excess. And then I'm gonna do the Western style first, which literally is just carving out the cheekbones first. I don't like doing a lot because I really don't like a heavy contoured look, but you can see it really gives a different effect. And then I'll smile to get just under the apples of the cheeks to kind of lift them up and give more definition. And then just kind of patting out that top area so it's not as harsh. So just a little buff and a little blend. So you can already see there's such a stark difference between the looks and the face already. Then going in, I like to just define under my jaw quite a bit. And then on the neck to carve it out and give more definition to the jawline. There we go, and then I just connect it at the ear. And then I also go in and do the forehead just to shrink it a little bit, and so all the colors connect seamlessly. So I kind of do the classic 3 shape, which is kind of a traditional contour method for Western style makeup. Now, for the nose, my contour method is the exact same, so nothing has actually changed there. So just kind of lightly pinching the brush to get more of a sharper edge and just patting the color, and then I do just a nice subtle line over the top to give more of a button effect. I actually started doing this nose contour method while I was living in Japan, almost immediately after moving there, to be honest. So this is the same as when I was living there. So that is it for this side of my face. If you compare, like if I put a line down the middle, you really can see how this method just lifts the face and gives a lot more definition to the face comparatively to this side without all of that going on. So now I'm gonna do the contouring method for the opposite side of my face, and the contouring method that I used to do when I was living in Asia, which literally is just the very classic V-line contour, which is just shading on the lower jaw. I like to think of it as drawing a beard with contour, and then just kind of tailing it off at the chin, and just really gently, a small amount, and just constantly like blending at it and buffing, so you get a nice smooth shadow and shading for that V-line effect. You really don't need a lot when you do this. It's kind of like a slow build. And then you concentrate, of course, more of it around the end of the jaw. So right here is where you would concentrate more of a deeper color and slowly buff your way up and into the hairline up here, so that you get a nice seamless blend that doesn't look too fake, and just kind of like keep buffing and working at it. Then I also would take a little bit extra and do the same thing and just kind of carve out the jawline and then blend downwards so that the color is all matched, so it wouldn't look so obvious. My God, it looks so different. Like even my friends and stuff said, oh my gosh, you looked so like Asian when you lived in Japan and Korea, and nothing like racist about that or like trying to be Asian, but it's literally just makeup techniques. You know, what's kind of the beauty standard there comparatively. Now, like I said, I just would brown up the forehead just to shrink it. That was the exact same as then and now, so nothing's changed there with my makeup application. And then I would just kind of like connect it all so everything was seamless and there was no separation or huge difference between. Yeah. Then taking a little bit more for my nose contour, just a smidge, and like I said, that has not changed at all. I've been contouring my nose the exact same for quite a number of years now. It is insane. Like I've known this, that like my makeup method has been the biggest factor in why I look different. But when you put it side by side, like my gosh. Anyway, another different thing is that I use different blushes now. Of course, like I said, my skin is darker now that I live here and expose myself to the sun quite freely. My blushes have changed. I, back in the day, used a much lighter blush. This one I've actually had for quite a number of years. It's the Canmake Glow Fleur Cheeks in the shade number 1, which is a nice peachy corally, which is light in tone and color. and just kind of, I would put it right on the high point of my cheekbone. I wouldn't put it like in my inner face. I just would put it like right there for added color and warmth to the face, but not a lot at all. Like I kind of more so used my blush as a contour rather than like a blush. And then of course, for my skin being darker nowadays, I use a much darker blush. This is the Maybelline Fit Me blush in the shade Wine. I've been using this for about 2 years now. Still, for some reason, have not hit pan on it. My blush technique also is different on this side of my face. So now I do the smile, and I kind of follow my contour line, like all the way from the apples of my cheeks. So just right there, and then connecting it to the temple. And then after I pat it on, I just kind of like that. And then I also do the bridge of my nose. I'm only gonna try to get it only on the one side, but I have a very thin bridge, so it's a little hard for me. And then I also do the lower tip of my nose. And then I also do the chin. It's also really hard to get like just on. It's so hard to get on without getting the other side. And then I also dust whatever is remaining just on the top of my forehead, just to give more of a sun-kissed look. That's literally it for blush. Now is highlight, which my highlight technique also has stayed the same and the product has stayed the same. I use my Bobbi Brown highlighter. I don't know what shade it is. It's all in Japanese. I bought it in Japan and have been using it every day since. This actually is the best highlighter, you guys, if you recall watching my videos, or if you're new here, I've literally used this in all my tutorials every day for years. But my highlighting technique is the exact same. I literally just pack it on to the upper high point of my cheekbone. And then I did it the exact same in Korea and Japan as well, just on the cheekbones for that dewy skin look. And then the exact same for my nose, since Japan has been the same. So just a little smidge right on the upper tip, like the highest point of my tip, not the lowest point, but the highest point, and then a little smidge on the outer corners there. And then for the longest time, I've never ever liked having foundation on the lips, so I always have removed it. It's always been my thing to remove foundation from my lips. I just hate it. I feel like it looks like gross. But yeah, this is then versus now. Do you guys see the difference? Like it's very clear to me. I can see the difference. So for anyone who has thought I have done so much plastic surgery and so much filler and so much Botox to achieve this new look, you're very much wrong. It's just literally makeup. My method has changed. My daily look has changed comparatively to this much softer, more V-line inspired Korean look. It's very more like, it's just a very softer, less angular look comparatively to this side, which is a very bold, very angular, very bronze theme compared to this side, which is very soft. And yeah, and much more bright too. The foundation is just brighter. So yeah, I hope that answered your questions. Let me take this little curler out so I don't look so absolutely ridiculous. Now my bangs are fully curled again. So that is it, you guys. That is the only difference between how I looked in Korea and Japan versus how I look now that I'm living in Western countries. So like I said, my 3 factors in my different appearance is 1, being more tanned, skin color is a little bit darker. 2, my makeup method and contouring method has completely changed. And 3, it has been 5 years. I am aging. Like I'm aging. My skin's gonna sag, it's gonna get looser, it's gonna look more heavy in areas compared to others. Like angles are gonna start to come out because you lose collagen production in your skin as you age and your cheeks aren't as full, and it's sad. It's very sad. So yeah, that's the difference. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please subscribe if you want to see more makeup videos, skincare videos, and stuff like that, fashion videos. Check me out on Instagram. I post there really regularly. And of course, check out my vlog channel. I try to do weekly vlogs, but it's become more 2-week vlogs where I share literally my life in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And as I just live, literally just my life. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.